Hi everyone, it's Gina K from Gina K Designs and your host of Stamp TV. And today on Stamp TV, I'm going to show you a quick and easy masking technique that you can use to make clean and simple holiday cards and cards for any occasion using simple strip style sentiments and the Gina K Designs masking magic. The masking magic is great for this technique because it's low tack, it stays put, but it's easy to reposition, and you can use it over and over again as long as you peel it carefully. I've cut two pieces here that are 3 3/4 of an inch by 5 inches, and I'm going to use two of the Gina K Designs die sets. These are the single stitch die sets in the rectangle and the oval shapes. I'm positioning the oval right in the center of this piece of masking magic, and then I'm cutting it out using my die cutting machine. If you use an electric die cutting machine like the Gemini, I recommend that you tape it down with purple tape so it doesn't shift around. Once that's cut out, I'm going to save that oval for another project where I'm going to do some reverse masking on another day. And this is the piece that I'm going to be using for my project. Now I'm also going to cut the rectangle one by positioning that rectangle right in the center of the piece of masking magic. And again, I'm going to cut this out using my Spellbinders Platinum machine. And I'm going to keep that rectangle for another project as well. So to apply this, you want to make sure you only peel off half of the backing of the masking magic. Line up the masking magic to a piece of white cardstock that's cut to the same size as the masking magic. In my case, this is 3 3/4 of an inch by 5 inches, but you can make bigger cards or smaller panels and then just position them so that they're right on top of each other. It's easier to do it if you only peel off half of the backing at a time. Once that is in position, then it'll be easy to kind of slide the rest up into place. Next, I'm going to take a strip of masking magic, and this strip is cut to 1/2 of an inch. So I just cut a 1/2 of an inch off of one of the sheets, and then I'm going to place this right across the center of my oval. The reason I'm adding this strip is that so I can create an empty white space in the middle of my oval so I can stamp my greeting. Now you can make this wider for wider greeting stamps, or you can make it thinner for thinner strip sentiments. Once that's in place, I'm going to use my embossing magic pad, and I'm going to rub it all over the inside of this oval. Then I'm going to use one of the snowflakes from the Folk Art Snowflake stamp set. I'm going to stamp this with the Gina K Designs embossing and watermark ink. You can also use a Versamark pad for this, or you can use a pigment ink pad for this, because we're going to do a little bit of embossing over these snowflakes. And I'm going to continue to stamp these all over the surface of this piece of masking magic with the open oval. And I want to make sure that these snowflakes extend past the oval onto the rest of the masking magic so it doesn't look too patterned. We don't want all the snowflakes just tucked inside the oval. So I stamped about 5 snowflakes. And then I'm going to use some white embossing powder. You can also use clear embossing powder for this, or if you want a more metallic look, you can do gold or silver or copper or any color that you want. I'm embossing this with my Wagner heat tool, and once this is all heated up and ready to go, I'm going to do some ink blending. The first color I'm going to use is Gina K Designs Apple Mint, and I'm using one of the Picket Fence Studios life-changing brushes. And you can see as I begin to blend over some of those snowflakes, the snowflakes emerge from behind in white. And I'm going to add a second color to this. I'm going to use some Ocean Mist with a second Picket Fence Studios life-changing brush. I'm going to blend that ocean mist into the open areas. And then once I've blended that ocean mist, I'm going to go back over it with a little bit of the apple mint, just over those lines so those colors blend together in a seamless way. Now once all of that blending is done, I want to take a paper towel and I want to just rub over the surface of those embossed snowflakes to make sure I pick up any ink that might just be resting on top of that embossing powder. I don't want to transfer ink from my fingers. Now I'm going to peel the Masking Magic pieces off, and you can keep them if you want to reuse them, just peel them carefully, or you can just crumple them up and throw them away and just cut new ones each time you want to do a different design. And you can see how pretty that looks, that beautiful oval with space in the center to stamp a greeting. I'm going to use the Seasonal Greetings stamp set. These are 4 different strip sentiments that will fit perfectly into a 1/2 inch opening. And I'm going to stamp this with some black onyx ink. You can also emboss for a more metallic look, but I love that little pop of black even with these pastel colors. So you can see how pretty that looks. So here is my finished card on the right, and then here's one that I did with lovely lavender and ocean mist, and I made that one a more wintry card by stamping Winter Wishes. For my next card, I'm going to do the rectangle one that we cut earlier, and again, I applied half of the Masking Magic to the piece of cardstock, and now I'm peeling and applying the second half. Now, if it doesn't look perfect, the great thing about Masking Magic is it releases easily, so you can pick it up and reposition it as many times as you want. It will never, ever tear the paper. So now I have that where I want it, and I'm going to use that 1/2 inch strip, but this time I'm going to place it over my rectangle on an angle. You can see I'm just kind of finding the center and pressing that down. So my next step is to use some of the embossing magic from the embossing magic pad. That removes static and any oil that might be on the surface of the card from your skin. And then I'm going to stamp this again with the Gina Designs embossing and watermark ink pad. I picked a different snowflake from the Folk Art Snowflake stamp set, and I think this is one of my favorite snowflake sets because they're so delicate and make beautiful backgrounds on just about any winter card. So once I have all of these stamped, then I'm going to apply some of the white embossing powder again. I keep my embossing powder in one of these containers, and I have about 3 or 4 jars of embossing powder in there. It just makes it very convenient for me. But if I didn't have that, I would just sprinkle the embossing powder over a folded note card and then just put it back into the jar. My first color is going to be the lovely lavender, and I have another Picket Fence Studios Life-Changing brush. And I'm going to start working my way from one corner and then going up to the other corner. This is such a beautiful purple. And what I love about these soft pastel colors is they're perfect for these blended backgrounds for wintry cards, but they're also great for spring cards. So these colors are a great addition to your collection for more than just one season. Now I'm using some of the ocean mist, and I'm going to blend the ocean mist into that lovely lavender by filling in those opposite 2 corners, and then going back over it again with the lovely lavender brush to make sure I blend out any harsh lines that are occurring between those 2 colors. And if you need to re-ink your brush, you can always re-ink it, but you might want to try just rubbing what's left on the brush to blend out those lines. And again, I'm going to use a paper towel to rub all over the surface of this piece of cardstock to remove any ink that might be pooled on top of that embossing powder. And once I've done that, it's time to peel and reveal. So again, I'm going to start by peeling the strip off of the center. And then I'm going to peel the rest of the frame. Now this one I tore several times as I peeled it, and that's okay because the masking magic paper is very economical, and I like to do different shapes each time. And by using masking magic and dies that I have in my collection, it's easy to change it up. So next I'm going to add a greeting. I positioned that greeting across the diagonal in that open space, and I'm going to stamp it with some of the black onyx ink. So I'm inking that up real well, and then I'm going to close the door of the MISTI and stamp the Wishing You Joy right across the center. And you can see how fun that looks on an angle. And don't limit yourself to holiday cards. Try this for birthdays, anniversaries, and thank you cards too. The one on the left, I used apple mint and ocean mist with the first technique that I showed you. Well, here are my finished card projects, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll give these techniques a try. Here are a couple other videos I think you might enjoy, and I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.